Hello there. If you're watching this, it's probably because I've either run out of guests or, more likely, I'm probably taking a break and could be on holiday somewhere. So I have some specially curated videos for you. They are basically some of the shorts that I've created over the past few months, i.e. cut down versions of Business Jam Live. So I hope you like them, and I'll be back with you shortly with real live guests. In this episode of Business Jam Shorts, I have some more clips, some more excerpts from my chat with Samuel West, the curator of the Museum of Failure. So here I ask him about who are the successful innovators. Who actually has the advantage in terms of geography, which countries, which cultures, and all about free thinking, the effect of educational systems on our creativity.
I know failure is your thing, but who are the most successful innovators that you've come across in terms of companies who've done the best? And they might still have had the odd little mistake here and there, but who are the best ones, or who are the better ones?
I hate the company I'm about to mention. I really hate the company. I really dislike the owner of the company. But Amazon, it's really difficult to not be impressed with that company's willingness to take risk. And the way Amazon has not only taken risk early on when they were an insignificant startup, but they've managed to, despite all the horrible things about the company and leadership, they've still managed in their innovation process to maintain that willingness to take risk, and willingness to put money and resources into new ideas, and instead of thinking about it and having meetings to strategize and sort of foresee what would happen, they just put money into it and test it and see what happens in reality. And as they've grown as a company, they've also increased how big of a risk they take. I'm impressed with Amazon. I still am.
I can remember when they first started here in the UK.
Yeah,
they had very few warehouses. You just ordered online, and the Royal Mail delivered the books, and they were losing, I think, £52 million a year.
Yeah.
And this would have been, when would this have been?
That's about 10 years ago?
Not that long ago.
No.
I'm guessing a little more than 10 years ago.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, and they do mess up. They mess up big time, but it doesn't deter them. I mean, what was it? Churchill, who said that success is the ability to stumble from failure to failure without a loss of enthusiasm. That's Amazon. I mean, I just read an article a couple of months ago about Amazon's failure in the Swedish market. They came in and thought they would dominate, online retail in Sweden, and totally underestimated that the existing companies there were doing an awesome job. So Amazon is still an insignificant player in Sweden, despite massive amounts of money invested. They still couldn't get it right. So even at their core, they still screw up when they enter new markets. It's quite humbling,
What's your opinion on Google? Because that's the one that people springs to mind when you asked most people who's the most innovative company they can think of.
But Google is awesome. Oh, wait. Let me rewind. Pause that. Google was awesome. So they've also lost their innovative edge as they've become a mature company. But Google is unbeatable when it comes to the amount of innovation coming out. So they're willing to invest money into crazy technology or projects. But Google's problem is that they just don't take care of the stuff they develop. So there's so much innovation coming out of Google that's just not they just don't sort of. Yeah, they're sloppy about they'll launch things, services, technology, and then just sort of let them die. There's even a website dedicated to this called, I think it's called the Google Graveyard or Google Project Graveyard. So it's a website with, I think they have over 350 different projects, initiatives from Google where they've, more or less succeeded at launching a new service or technology and then killed it because they didn't want to take care of it or integrate it into Google's sort of main core business.
Which parts of the world, which regions or particular countries, where does the good stuff come from? Or is it? I mean, I mean, in the past, we've thought of ourselves in Western countries as being very clever and cool, and especially when it comes to tech and companies like China, we've said, oh, they're the people that they just copy everything or whatever, and there's been sort of stereotypes.
Yeah.
But with globalization of thought, shall we say, I would have thought that's actually changed quite a lot.
Yeah, I mean, look at an example of that change. I mean, it's historically been, of course, the United States and Europe being the leaders in anything in any kind of innovation, and then China or Asia trying to catch up on that and being the factories for our great products. It's interesting to see that change. I mean, look at TikTok. I mean, I'm too old for TikTok, but it's you can't deny how TikTok has, in just a few number of years, basically dominating, for young people at least, in social media. That's not an American or European country. That's a Chinese company. They got it right. Twitter tried. Instagram or Facebook tried. Here comes TikTok and just blows everybody away. That's one example that I thought of, that I can think of first, where we in the United States or Europe can't take the historical innovation lead for granted.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things I always talk about innovation as I call it, innovation is a human race, in the sense that in the past we have been the athletes who've had the fancy lycra gear, the cool running shoes, the training methods, and we've won everything. And if you look over your shoulder, there's these guys from developing countries wearing their flappy shorts, in bare feet, way behind.
Yeah.
But there's one difference. They can run faster than we can, because they haven't. I mean, at school, for instance, we start out life being creative. We go to school and we're gradually taught to be less and less creative and to pass exams. Then when we leave college, when we leave school, go to college, we have to be taught to be creative again. But you go to countries in South America, in Africa, in India, Pakistan, and these people they're solving problems from a young age, and they're doing incredible things, and that's the running faster bit. And if they have access to the tools and technology, as well as that ingenuity, then their future looks very bright for those countries.
Definitely. I mean, it's also I mean, this innovative advantage, if the rich countries of Europe and the United States are too comfortable and not willing to take meaningful risks, I'm talking about technology, ideological change, progress, and in any aspect of life, if they're not willing to take that risk because they're too comfortable with how things are and content with status quo, then of course they're going to lose their edge, for sure.
Let's start with universities, because they turn out a lot of our captains of industry, not all of them. what on earth should they be leaving with, instead of the sort of traditional MBA or whatever it is they leave with? Or rather, how should we be changing the syllabus? What should we be putting on there?
The sad thing about higher education, regardless of which country it's in, is that the majority of all higher education is just an extension of elementary school, more or less. It's the search for right answers to the questions. It's not empowering or encouraging students to actually explore and experiment, and that's a shame. And I see it every time I'm involved, whether I give a talk at a university or involved in research projects. It's the same sad story where you're in a fictive environment. It's called school. Nothing you do, it's where you can experiment. It's where you can explore without taking the real life consequences, theoretically. But in reality, everything is career focused from day one. And the students say, how is this going to help me get a better job or more pay? Or how am I going to get a better grade if I do this? The system is already creating obstacles to exploration, which is, I can't see, if you can't do it when you're 21 years old in school, how on earth are you going to do it when you're 41 in some corporate setting? So that's one thing I think is important, which I don't have a solution to because I haven't actually seen anybody succeed with this, where you can have, I shouldn't be so dogmatic. There are exceptions to that, but by and large, the university systems do not encourage people to take risks and to truly explore. That's one thing. The second thing is, and this just comes from my background, researching play and the state of flow. I feel sad when I meet groups of 20-year-olds or 21-year-olds who are already tapping into their bored adulthood, right when they're 21, instead of having and really embracing that free thought and that sort of passion for the curiosity about life. They're already thinking in terms of basically mortgage and picking up kids at preschool and that stuff. I'm like, you have all your life to think about that. Use your time now to truly sort of discover what you can do, what your abilities are. And I think most universities and higher education fail to address this. That's one thing. And then the other one, the more about failure is, and I've worked on several projects in the past 2 years, is how to help this, particularly the high performing students. The super high performing students are often the ones that are the most afraid of failure, and how to help them both sort of gain confidence in their ability to recover from and deal with failure, and also to increase their willingness to take those risks. But that's more specific failure.